Welcome back to Closing Conversation, the show for founders, leaders, and sellers who win together. I'm your host, Max Notice. Today's guest is Paul Hletko. Paul is an entrepreneur in the adult consumption space. He started Few Spirits, helped build a roll-up that included brands like Widow Jane, Bluecoat Gin, Tequila Ocho, Mezcal Vago, and Brenne. And now he's building Skull Petal, a men's cosmetics and skincare company. We talk about whiskey, family history, entrepreneurship, luck, hard work, the pressure of building something from scratch, and why the stuff that people see is only a part of what it actually takes. Paul has a great line: the harder you work, the luckier you get. This one is loose, honest, funny, and very real. Let's get into it. So anyway, these work best just as a conversation. And obviously, last time you and I talked, it was a pretty easy conversation. Paul, I'm so thankful that you're able to join here today. Just to kick things off, do you want to tell the audience a little bit about yourself, about your background, what you're doing?
Sure. My name is Paul Hletko. I am fundamentally an entrepreneur, primarily in the adult consumption space. About 15 years ago, I started a whiskey company, grew it, sold it to a roll-up, then sold the roll-up to a strategic a little over 4 years ago. And since then, just kind of been scheming.
Fair enough. Well, it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was Widow Jane, which is one of my favorite whiskeys out there.
Yeah, Widow Jane was part of the roll-up. I started a company called Few Spirits, and with Samson and Suri, we got Widow Jane, we got Bluecoat Gin, Tequila Ocho, Mezcal Vago, Brenne.
Is Brenne the one with the light blue label?
Yeah, it's got a really elegant kind of light blue label. It's a French single malt.
What a small world. When I was working at a company called Yext. There's we were in New York City liquor store across the street, big drinking culture at the time. And it was right by the holidays. And a bunch of us went, and we were, guys were looking to get gifts for their manager. And the woman who started Brenne, or was something big there, was offering a tasting and signing bottles of it. And it was given we all tasted it. It was delicious. It was given as a gift to everyone. One of my best friends, this guy, Jason, who lives right by me, he still has the bottle 10 years later, with the signature. And I haven't seen it all around, but whenever I do, I get a bottle because it's absolutely delicious.
Yeah, great whiskey. And Allison, I was actually just texting with her about an hour ago.
That's so funny.
She's an awesome person. Silly smart.
I mean, it was funny. You were telling me where you were traveling before, you're saying London, Cabo. And then I'm thinking, I'm trying in my head to think well, where's work? Where's fun?
I was just initiated into the Worshipful Company of Distillers, which is one of the, trade livery companies in the city of London. So it was kind of fun, being initiated into this group that's been around since 1638, sitting in a room that's been there since literally the 1400s. And, as Americans, we just kind of get confused by time frames like that. I don't understand time frames like that. Last time I was over, I was in another meeting at a liquor store that's been around for forever. And, at one point they said, "Oh, by the way, you're sitting in King George's chair." And I'm like, "Wait, what?"
You mean the one that we fought?
Yes.
The third? All right.
We sent him a very stern letter at one point. And I was just like, "Wait, what? Why are you letting me sit in King George's chair?"
Well, good for you. We won. You get his chair now.
It was weird, man. It's a weird life, that's for sure.
Yeah, I had a friend from college who was from Europe, and we went to school in Boston. And I'm like, I love how old, everything is. And she's like, shut up. This is nothing. So anyway, so you've been in the adult, consumption space, as you were saying. You're now doing, makeup and e-commerce?
Yeah, so now I've got men's cosmetics and a skincare company called Skull Petal doing DTC e-commerce. Going fun, going cool, just kind of trying to do something a little bit new, something a little different. It's kind of hard times in the spirits business these days. These times will pass. I'm not worried about it. But at the moment, the opportunity to do something a little bit different that I haven't done before. And it's a new challenge, which is fun.
Well, you said you're an entrepreneur at heart. So that's, there you go. You're living for that next thing.
Trying to find something. People need it. Men have skin too. Men have
often more skin than women.
Right. Men have faces that need to look good. And, I firmly believe that, sitting here in 2026, that, 10 years ago, maybe you didn't see your face as much. But in 2026, all you do is sit and look at the stupid screen, and your appearance matters more now than ever. You might think it matters less because you're just this. But in reality, your face matters more than it did 10 years ago because it's all you got. You can't shake hands. Your firm handshake doesn't do you any good anymore.
Yeah, that's true. I never thought about that.
So, this is what you got.
And I'm thinking even in my world, like I feel like there are more men's grooming products. It's becoming less stigmatized, as time goes on. Like you'll see like a beard oil or something, and it's branded in a certain way that makes you feel, you're supposed sandalwood and, man, like when all that stuff, I never really thought about how there's just a lot more of that. And handshake, you're right. You can argue matters less than what you actually look like coming onto a camera, in a mirror, whatever.
It's counterintuitive. Like you think it's not going to matter as much, but I think counterintuitive stuff is almost always correct, that, what you think is going to matter less actually matters more. And I think your face does. I'm too old. There's not much I can do with this piece of crap, but younger guys, you don't have to end up like this. Like you can have a nice looking face, you can keep it. And there's no reason why men with skincare or cosmetics are girly.
Yeah, I know you're a hockey fan. Now that we've got cages on our hockey masks, there's really no reason.
Right. I mean, I got all of my teeth.
Yeah, you don't need giblets. So let me ask you this, because, I kind of want to talk about, Widow Jane is one of my favorite whiskeys. Today is Friday. I can't wait to have a bourbon at the end of the day today. Long week. How did you get into that? Like, were you working somewhere? Did you meet how did that take off? Because these are major brands that you're talking about.
Got started in whiskey based on, frankly, family history. Prior to World War II, my grandpa's family had owned what's now a major brewery in Czechoslovakia at the time. If you're up on your world history, you probably remember in 1939, the Nazis invaded Czechoslovakia. They did. It's kind of a thing. People are pissed off about it. Nazis confiscated the family brewery and murdered the entire family in the camps. And although my grandpa survived, both parents, all of his siblings, aunts, uncles, grandparents, entire family got wiped out. And although he spent the rest of his life trying to get the brewery back, he never did. When he passed, it kind of struck me that either you could do something about it, you could raise a fist to the sky and scream, "Oh, why me?" Or you can just go to work and do it again. So that's kind of what I did. But, kind of looked at making beer, but I didn't end up making beer. Making wine in Illinois is great, but God help you trying to sell Illinois wine. I will tell you, there's great wine made here. Like that is full truth. But, your reaction is everything, right? Everybody just laughs at you when you talk about Illinois wine. It's just impossible to sell. So that doesn't work. Plus, it's not fun to make. I don't think it's fun to make. Lots of guys like it. Lots of women like it. I don't. But making spirits is really, really freaking fun. And there was really no competition. So it was great. I was able to build up pretty quick. And then once I had a name, once I had a reputation, bit of an industry leader, I started the trade association for the small distillers as the president of the trade association. I had a reputation. People knew me. And so, we were able to put together this, awesome roll up.
So, listen, there are a lot of things that hit. First, I'm Jewish. From what I've read about what the Nazis did in 1935, not 39, the more I read about it, the more I don't like it, right? Second, that like the Frank Sinatra song, that's life. What do? You pick yourself up, you get back in the race. That's life.
So I'm a Midwesterner, man. Whatever. If life sucks, work harder.
You goddamn right. No, really. You had family history of brewing, of alcohol, as an industry. You ran the commission and everything. How do you even get started? How do you establish the name? How do you get your first space, come up with the name, hire people? Like, what was the process there?
It's just one day at a time and solving a problem sequentially. It's like eating an elephant, right? You just got to start with taking one bite. And, is it easy? No, it's really freaking hard. And most of the work that actually makes you succeed or fail gets done before anybody even knows about it. The stuff that makes you work is your setup and your preparation and your financial structures, quality of your brand, your quality of your packaging, all this stuff done invisible to the public. It's like anytime you see an entrepreneur, the stuff that you see, it's like an iceberg in the water, right? What you see is a very small fraction of what it takes to do this stuff. That's just the truth. And so, how did you get started? Well, it's one day at a time. Like, all right, what do I need to be able to figure out? Oh, I need this, I need that, I need X, I need Y, I need Z. All right, well, how do I get that? And then work backwards from, all right, here to there. And it's very rigid and very structured. And you can see people that don't do it right because frankly, they tend to fail pretty quickly. Didn't account for it. There's something they didn't do and then they got caught, which sucks, but that's the reality, right? Like the harder you work, the luckier you get. And I will never pretend that, whatever success I've had isn't, 100% reliant on luck. I'm the luckiest guy out there. You got to have luck to win. But if all you got is luck, you're going to lose because you got to have the hard work to back it up. And like I said, harder you work, the luckier you get. But if you don't work hard, you're not going to get lucky. And if you're not lucky, you're not going to be able to work hard. So you need both. And that hard work is what gets you in the room to get lucky.
I totally get what you're saying. And I'm, call it 2 years, 3 years into starting my company. I always worked for companies, and I had this idea for something, and it kind of like ate at me. And then one day a friend went out and did their thing. My wife and I look at each other and said, what if I did? Like, what if we really did it? And here we go. And I'll never forget talking to my brother. He says, like, well, Max, like, dad works for himself. He started his own eye care practice. Grandpa, his father, worked for himself, started like a semi-precious stones, like amethyst selling business. And your Uncle Ben works for himself. Like, genetically, you're kind of like really set up to do this. Like, this makes a ton of sense. It's in you or it's not. And when I think back to, after our first year in business of trying out, like, all right, we coach salespeople, we build sales teams, we get in on the ground, like a fractional CR, like whatever needs to be done, we come in with the expertise and do this for companies. Year one was, does it work? Like, will people pay for this? And year two is, can we scale it? Can we bring in more people who can service more clients? And I'll never forget my wife and I, because I was still a one-person shop at the time, we had a commission holiday party just for the two of us. Because hell, it's been a lot of work and it's been a long year, and we've sacrificed a lot of, my paycheck for over a year to feed the business and get it off the ground. And I'll never forget looking through my calendar 1 year into starting it. What was I doing 1 year ago? And my thought was like, what the fuck was I doing? Like, I was taking meetings with random companies to learn what they do. Or I was looking at, Fiverr or Upwork for what can somebody help me with that I can afford. Like, and it looks on paper like I was doing nothing. But in reality, I was learning every single little lesson that I had to. That, all of a sudden I'm in a seat where I'm making decisions that I've never made before. And I'm making 100 of them a day. And exactly as you're saying with the iceberg, and he looked and said, oh, Max, like, I can join you now. Like, you're humming, you need me to help you accomplish. You're absolutely right. But what it took to get to here, you have no idea. It was 2 years of nothing but work to just get to this point of stability, of a logo, of a little bit of a reputation. Like, I think you hit the nail on the head with that. And I don't know, that just really resonated with me. And I'll tell you one other thing, Paul, and I remembered this from our last conversation. You also, I don't know if this was something learned or something inherent to you. You seem to have a really healthy mindset, where I'll tell you, and then you're fooling me well. Like, there are days where I'm so my worst enemy, and I put so much pressure on myself. And like, the goal is here, I'll hit the goal, but somehow as I get there, the goal moved to here. And it's never, ever, and a constant struggle with myself, with my own expectations. But as you put it well, how do you eat an elephant? One day at a time. On our last conversation, we were talking about how do you talk to high profile people? And I remember you said, they're just fucking people. Like, treat them like people, do unto others. So I'm just like curious, like, is that something that's always been, like kind of how you've operated? Is that something that you've learned with time and experience, or both?
Probably a little bit of both. I mean, I think a lot of it is just kind of exposure. I've been lucky or unlucky enough. I don't know. It's just, again, they're just people. I've been around and hung out with some pretty famous people in my day. And, you can sit there and you can be all awestruck or starstruck and be like, oh, and that's not fun for anybody because you're sitting there tense, they're sitting there tense, and everybody's all stressed out. Whereas if you just go, hey, what's up, man? People are generally pretty cool. I've got this poster. It used to be hanging right behind me here, but it just says it's not the destination, it's the journey. And I think that's something that I really take to heart, because there is no such thing as a destination. You say you get this goal, you're getting here, and then as you get closer to it, the goal moves. And that's right. Like, we all share the exact same destination. It's, in a couple billion years, the sun's going to expand and we're all going to get incinerated. That's our destination. So enjoy the journey. Like, the journey is what matters, not where you're going.
I feel like it's an easier said than done. I want to enjoy it so badly, but sometimes it's just so difficult. What was it? There was There was a hockey goalie that they were interviewing, and they're like, how do you like mentally prepare for a game? And he says, oh, I just say to myself, well, don't worry, everyone's going to be dead soon.
It's a hockey game. I mean, oh, okay, I got some, a little piece of plastic went behind me. Okay, have some fun. I mean, again, the journey is the journey is the fun part, and the ups and the downs. And if there were no downs, there wouldn't be ups, and if there were no ups, there wouldn't be downs. So maybe it's a little bit of yin yang, but it's the ride, man. Enjoy the ride. And when it's a down ride, that sucks, man. It really does suck. That's not fun. But then when you get the good shit, you appreciate it a lot more.
Yes, and all true to, I think to life in general. Like, the happy part of a movie is happier. There's always a conflict. It's just like a movie that was all happy would be really fucking boring. And I also think I've noticed this in my life. When I look back on the hardest parts of my life that I've been through, for whatever reason, I have like there's some of the most nostalgic points in my life. And I think there's also something to that. And I think I've gotten better with, you can't be so stressed about everything all the time. And to me, I think it's a bit learned. Like the amount of extra weight that you carry doing that, after a while, it's kind of like, fuck it. Like, I can't do this. Like, I'll give you an example. I was in a sales role in the beginning of my career, and you had like a weekly quota that you had to hit to keep the leads you were on. And every week, Thursday, Friday, I didn't sleep. I missed that quota once out of like 100 weeks, like, 2 years. But every Thursday, Friday, I didn't sleep. And then I got to a point where I realized, well, they would measure our talk time and our calls. And I realized, well, if I put up 3 hours of talk time every day, then I'm going to make this at the end of the week. If I put up 4 hours of talk time every day, I'm going to put this up at the end of the week. And now if I do that, I don't have to worry anymore. And I feel like similarly, at least for myself, coming into the seat, starting something new, it's like you're underwater and you can't feel where the floor, like there's nothing to ground. There's nothing to, what am I doing well? There's no reality lever or indicator to look for. But then as you start to go and maybe even realize, looking back like on that calendar, like, holy shit, compared to where I was not long ago, I can't believe like what my calendar looks like now and the meaningful things that are on it. Like, I don't know. Like you said, maybe it's a little bit inherent and maybe it's a little bit learned, but I feel like, at least for me, that's probably like, I feel like it's what's going to make me successful and what's going to drive me crazy is that fucking neurosis. But mitigating it is what's going to be the difference between being happy or not. And I read this line, it was like, that I thought was interesting. It was like, you choose your heart in life. Like being broke is hard. Being financially disciplined is hard. Like you get to pick which one. Like being fat is hard. Going to the gym is hard. Like you pick. And like in this seat, your seat, well, working for someone is hard. Working for yourself is hard. You get to pick. And when you're kind of, I don't know, when I thought about that and boiled it down, like, yeah, I get to be here. Like that's a privilege to be able to start a company, to have a wife that cares and supports me and that she, financially stable enough to do this. And that's pretty fucking good. And then that means I get to enjoy the day as I want to, or, make it a great day or not. The choice is yours.
I make whiskey and grow weed for a living, man. Like that's a pretty damn good luck.
That was pretty fucking good.
I'm pretty lucky to be in the position I'm in, but at the same time, it's a hell of a lot of work.
So that's why you say consumption, not just spirits, because it's whiskey and weed.
And other stuff too.
Gotcha.
I've got some aggressive investments in the psychedelic space. That this has been a very good week for the psychedelic space.
Oh my God. Well, it was the Joe Rogan thing. I can only imagine.
Oh, never mind Joe Rogan. Talk about Trump.
No, that's what I mean. He was in the Oval Office having him sign something.
Been a good week.
Good for you, dude. So, obviously it sounds like you started with whiskey.
Made some money there and allowed me to diversify my assets.
Interesting. So like party your ass off, but don't look like you've partied your ass off.
I very quickly, when I got in the whiskey business, I recognized the correlations between consumption and success. And the more people consumed, the less success they had. And the less they consumed, the more success they had. It's a direct, unequivocal line. And I saw that very, very quickly. Prior to starting the distillery, I drank a pretty decent amount. Not going to lie about that. It's not necessarily good, but I drank a lot. In the distillery, very rarely. I'm not going to say I don't drink. I drink, but not like I used to.
Interesting. I used to smoke a lot, and I've stopped smoking since I had kids, started the company. Just like we all got our Achilles heel. And, it's funny as you say, there's a direct correlation. And I always think like, well, who's someone that drank a lot that was successful? Winston Churchill. But he's kind of the only one that I can think of.
And he had a lot of help and probably got a lot of luck too. Different times, different cultures, and so on. I think today, I don't think it works.
There's a sales guy that I work with. He works in the produce industry and he used to manage like country clubs and restaurants. And it's a lot of like liquor ordering and, bars and whatnot. And he like decided early on in his career, like, I'm not going to drink because it's like getting high on your own supply. If I start drinking and I'm in these environments, like I'm going to drown.
Yeah, I made a policy to never drink my own stuff, either at work or at home. Only drink it when I'm out. Because when you've got, millions and millions of dollars worth of whiskey, it's prevalent. People come in like, people go to my office and they've got 10 bottles of whiskey on my desk. And they go, oh, it's so great. I'm like, I don't know, man. It's the same thing as your TPS reports to me. It's just a bottle of whiskey.
Yeah. Like, I'm thinking like, like Mr. Right? Like weed, whiskey, psychedelics, like, Mr. Party. But like at the end of the day, if you were fucked up all the time, you're not going to run any of those.
It's all TPS reports.
It's all TPS reports. I like that a lot.
Yeah, whiskey, TPS.
That's interesting.
Doesn't look like it if you're not in the industry, but if you are in the industry, it's like, man, you smoke that weed, you're going to be in trouble professionally.
That's really interesting. I feel like most industries, you don't have to worry about that. Like in this, I'm going to like use too much AI and I'm going to like fucking lose. Like, no, that's something you really have to be careful of. But also, with starting a company, there's a lot of fucking pressure. And I feel like when I started it, there was a point where I was drinking more. And then you realize, not actually helpful. And then you pull back and, figure it out in other ways.
Yeah. The prevalence of adult beverages in the whiskey industry it's just everywhere. It's everywhere you go. It's everywhere you work. It's at your office. It's at, every place you go with the meeting, it's there. Kind of becomes work too. Like drinking becomes work.
Let me ask, do you have like, I know you said when you're out of the house, is it like, do you have like a rule, like if it's this type of occasion or this type of thing, or you just kind of like mitigated?
I drink as much and whenever I want. Probably don't want to drink as much as I used to. I had a couple cocktails last night. Not every night. I'm playing poker tonight, so I'll probably have a couple drinks then. But also, since I'm not really in the industry at the moment, it's a little different too.
Very interesting. Well, getting high on your own supply in the beauty space, that could work in your favor.
Yeah, hey, I look damn good.
Wait, what's the name of it again?
Skullandpetal.com.
Skullandpetal.com. We'll check it out. And I'll definitely order some for myself. Why the fuck not?
And you're looking good, but you can always look better.
Well, that's a good tagline. That's a really good tagline. This is awesome. I don't know. You and I like really clicked on the last one, and I feel like this is very easy. I'm really glad that you and I met.
Just be chill, man.
Be chill. So what do you got going on this weekend?
Playing poker tonight. That'll be my fun. Probably play hockey Sunday night.
Hey, I got hockey Sunday night too.
Yeah, my knee gave out about a month ago, so my hockey career's been a little limited lately.
Be careful. I know you probably want to go to every game. Like, if you take care of it right, you get another 20 years.
I played half the game last time. I go and it's a little soft when I get, and then it warms up and it feels good. And then about a period or two into the game, it just starts to feel real warm. And I'm like, I need to get off the ice.
It's like anything else, like if you're in a job that you hate and you keep pushing it, like you're going to burn out and crash soon, whereas like with the knee, like I've had back surgery, shoulder surgery since playing, and oh my God, take your time in recovery because you could have your last game be in the next year, or you could have it be in the next 20, 30 years. Like,
I think it's going to get better, but if not, that'll suck.
If not, that'll suck. You can still go to your games and like hang out with the guys and.
Yeah, I could go sit and drink beers in the locker room too. That's fine. But it's not as fun if you didn't get to play. It's not as fun.
Absolutely. Yeah. Everyone else is like riding high on endorphins and you're just like.
I'm going to go drive over there to sit in the locker room with a bunch of naked guys and drink beer is different than I went and played hockey. The vibes are a little different.
The story, how it's received is a little different too. Not bad. You seeing any good concerts coming up?
I just got tickets to see Humphreys McGee in about 3 months, and also Deep Purple, which is a fun show if you've never seen them.
I've never seen them, but of course I know them.
It's actually a really fun show. I've seen them a couple years back. I saw them in Vegas, and it was a great time.
I didn't know they still played.
A lot of the OG guys are not there anymore. It's mostly a cover band, but it's fun.
Totally. I'm a huge Beatles fan, and I play in a Beatles group, and whenever Ringo Starr comes around, like, it's fun. Every song, and like these guys are a little past their prime, but they're still doing it and it's still them. And we actually just got tickets to see the Foo Fighters. We're seeing them next week. They're playing at a really like a minor league hockey stadium right by here. So it's intimate. It's like a small arena. Every seat in the house I'm sure is really good. I feel like it's kind of like a warm-up show for a bigger tour.
That's fun. Yeah, they put on a fun show.
I've never seen them before. I've always wanted to.
Nobody likes being a rock star more than Dave Grohl, man. That guy, he's built to be a rock star. He is exceptional at being a rock star.
I feel like he's like the last true rock star out there.
Absolute rock star, and thrives on it and loves it. And he's freaking fun, man. They put on a fun show.
I'm so pumped. I mean, I would pay the amount just to see Everlong played live.
They're great, man. I saw them at Wrigley many years ago, and they're freaking fun.
That's so cool. We have a couple like little theaters, like the Spin Doctors were coming around, and the ticket was $20. And I'm like, would I pay $20 just to hear two Princes played live? And the answer is absolutely. So let's go. We've got another venue out here that we always pick like someone to see at least once a year. It was a minor league baseball stadium that team went under. They kept like the grants, like, the seating behind first, home, and third, and then built in the outfield essentially a stage. So where the field was is floor, where you'd sit to watch the game is like risers. And it's awesome. It's outdoors, great amphitheater. The Foo Fighters actually were the opening act for this place, and they get good names. Like we saw the Goo Goo Dolls there a couple of times. We're seeing, I think, like Tedeschi Trucks Band, this year. Jerry Seinfeld played there. Like that was kind of interesting. Like, outdoor venue for a comedian. That's kind of cool. Damn, dude. Well, I got to tell you, this was a great, easy conversation. Anything else you want to leave with the audience?
No, man. Check out skullandpedal.com.
Skullandpedal.com. You got it, man. We'll advertise it.
Awesome. Appreciate you having me out, Max. Have a great day and a great weekend, my friend.
Take care, Paul. Bye. And that's a wrap for this episode of Closing Conversations. Huge thanks to Paul Hletko for joining me. What stuck with me is simple. The work people see is only the tip of the iceberg. The brand, the product, the sale, the exit, that all comes later. The real work happens before anyone is paying attention. Paul's reminder was a good one. The harder you work, the luckier you get. If you liked this episode, subscribe, leave a review, or share it with someone building something from scratch. And if you're building a sales team that needs stronger systems, better coaching, and more consistent execution, head on over to www.commissionsales.com. We'll see you next time. And until then, let's get closing. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this conversation, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget, you can always catch us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts for more episodes of Closing Conversations.